Welcome to Cloud Tech Nexus Tutorials. This tutorial we will focus on Microsoft SQL Server 2014. SQL Server is a database system that other computers look for on a network to access and retrieve data. During the tutorial, a basic install will be done. It is up to you what modules you will actually need that can be modified later. There are different versions of SQL Server. The higher the cost, the more features it will have. Here is a short list of features available compared to SQL Server 2012 and 2016. Visit Microsoft's webpage for a complete list. If you visit Microsoft's webpage, you can download the trial, see FAQs, videos, and other resources regarding SQL Server. This setup can be done in a physical or virtual environment. This tutorial will be done in a virtual environment. We will need to access the router, virtual machine host, that is the domain controller, and SQL Server. The steps will be in the following order. Create new virtual machine. Give the SQL Server virtual machine host a name. SQL Server 2014 will be run on Windows Server 2012 R2. Choose hard drive space. The CPU for the initial install will be set high, then lowered after setup. Find the Windows Server 2012 R2 ISO. When finished with virtual machine settings, finish and start virtual machine or physical machine. Install now. For this tutorial, we will choose standard server with a GUI. Accept license terms and finish Windows Server 2012 R2 install. Wait for install to finish. Wait times varies depending on system specs. Create local administrator password. Log in. In Server Manager, find the IE Enhanced Security Configuration. Administrators, select the Off option, then click OK. Install VMware tools if using vSphere. In a physical machine, you can skip this step. I always choose Custom to see what's being installed. Choose Yes to restart. Log in. Right-click on the network icon in the system tray and select Open Network and Sharing Center. Select Ethernet, then IPv4 properties. Select Use the following IP address. IP address is the local machine. Tab down for subnet. Default gateway is found on the router DNS. Is the domain a controller IP. OK and close all windows. Press Windows key and pause break key at the same time to bring up the system info screen. Change settings, update computer description, name, and remote access settings before joining to a domain. Restart now. Log in. Server is now ready to be joined to domain. System properties will not be used to join the domain since it will connect to a small business server. If not using small business server essentials or prefer to use the standard method to domain join, you may do so. If joining domain with small business server essentials, open web browser and type in connection address. Download the connector, run it, and finish the wizard to add server to domain. Eject the VMware tools if loaded. If a physical machine, you can skip this step. Use domain credentials. Know if asked to use another account. Restart. Next. Next. Finish. Log in with domain credentials. Switch over to the domain controller. Log in with domain credentials. Open Active Directory. Create the OU folder and accounts that SQL Server will use. In this example, SharePoint 2013 accounts. If other accounts are needed, they can be created later. These accounts are necessary for use with SharePoint and SQL servers. These accounts are specific for SharePoint, but other accounts may be needed if other servers need data from the database. Switch back over to virtual machine or physical machine you want to install SQL Server on. Log in. Add roles and features. Select .NET Framework 3.5 and the following features under it. Install. Switch over to Domain Controller. If you are not using Small Business Server, you can skip this step regarding remote access. Open Dashboard. Select account that will need remote access to SQL Server. Grant remote access permissions. Open web browser. Log into router. Open SQL Server port 1433. Close router web page. Switch back over to virtual machine or physical machine you want to install SQL Server on. Mount SQL Server ISO or run setup file. In this example, we will run the setup file. Click on Installation, the new SQL Server standalone installation. Run. Apply a product key if you have one. View license agreement, accept terms, then next. We will skip updates. Next. You may get a firewall warning, but this is okay. If you get any other warnings or errors, they must be corrected before proceeding. This option varies, but for the tutorial, we would choose SQL Server feature installation. This, like the previous step, varies depending on the SQL Server role it will have, so choose the appropriate features. In this tutorial, we will choose database engine services and management tools. Let's keep default instance, then next. Special accounts created will need to be included here. Provide path with account name and password. Let's keep Windows authentication mode and add the following accounts. Review feature install list, then install. If you get all green checkboxes, proceed. If not, troubleshoot the error until you get all green checkboxes. Restart. Log in. Create SQL shortcuts for easy access. Search or browse applications and find SQL Server 2014 Management Studio. After shortcuts are created, launch SQL Server 2014 Management Studio. Connect. After connecting, update permissions to the following accounts. Checkbox DB Creator and Security Admin. The install and configuration is now complete. The virtual machine processing will be lowered now that the install is complete. If using a physical machine, you can skip this step. The virtual machine settings are being adjusted because the previous setting helped move the installation along faster. This step is optional. This concludes the tutorial. At this point, it will be up to you to create and manage databases. Steps complete. Thanks for watching.